You're listening to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station.
Hello and welcome to episode 42. 43 of Pop Culture Weekly. Crazy. I can't believe it's crazy. Anyway, thank you for joining me once again. I'm Kyle McMahon, and you guys make this podcast grow bigger and bigger every single week, and I love you for it. I love your tweets and your emails and your messages and your reviews on the iTunes, Apple Podcasts app, and you guys just make this what it is. So thank you so much. Today, as we continue to social distance, it's another weird episode in the fact that it's not me and Benny or me and Courtney or me and Krista here in the studio, talking back and forth, that sort of thing. So it's a solo episode, but I've got two awesome interviews for you today. The first is Lauv, who I love. Lauv, such an incredible artist. He, of course, has that giant hit, I Like Me Better, and his new album, How I'm Feeling, is an artistic piece of art. I mean, an artistic piece of art. There you go. It is, really just a piece of art. It is raw, emotional, honest. It is incredible, and I love this album. So I talked to Lauv, and you get to hear that. Of course, the video is up on my Facebook at Real Kyle McMahon. You can watch the video and most of the videos of the interviews that I do for Pop Culture Weekly. But I also play a fun game with him called I Like Me Better that I really think you're going to enjoy. I also talk to Mallika Chopra, who is the daughter of spiritual guru, scholar, influencer Deepak Chopra. And Mallika is a influencer all on her own. She's the author of many books. My personal favorite is her book, Living with Intent, My Somewhat Messy Journey to Purpose, Peace, and Joy. She also has a new book that I just ordered on Amazon. I can't wait to read, and that is called Just Feel, How to Be Stronger, Happier, Healthier, and More. And that is aimed towards kids 8 to 12 or so. It's kind of a spiritual sequel to Just Breathe, which is the first book of hers that is kind of aimed to that same age group. But the thing about these books is that they're not just for kids, spoiler alert, and Mallika and I talk about this. However, it really isn't. I was, reading the reviews on Just Feel, and adults are like, you know what? It's a very simple way to do the work and not have to worry about the complexities of it. So if you enjoy this, then you could move on to her other books. And again, she's an incredible author. I love Living with Intent. So I'm excited to talk to her about her new book, Just Feel, How to Be Stronger, Happier, Healthier, and More. You're going to hear that interview right after my interview with Lauv. So let's get it started, guys. Here's my interview with Lauv. Brother, what's up? How are you?
I'm good, man. I just took a little walk, a little sweaty, but feeling good.
There you go. First of all, congratulations on over 1 billion streams. That is insane.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's very crazy.
It's crazy. So I read that you had signed a record deal in college as a junior, and then you kind of put it to the side and wanted to finish it off. Is that right?
Yeah, basically I signed like a publishing deal just like as a songwriter and producer. I wasn't really focused on the artist thing. But I was like, I'm going to finish school anyways. I was already like 3/4 of the way there. Stuff didn't really start happening like crazy until after school and I moved to LA. So yeah.
That's awesome. And then you released an EP, Lost in the Light, which had the single The Other. Yes. Then you began writing for other artists, like you did Celine Dion, you did Cheat Codes and Demi Lovato, No Promises, right?
Yeah.
And what was that like to start writing for other people?
Crazy. I mean, it's super different. Just in like the songs I write for myself are definitely a little more personal, but yeah, I kind of like, I think No Promises was like my big thing. Like I remember going into radio stations like when I was releasing I Like Me Better, and like it would always be like, oh, like he wrote and produced No Promises for Cheat Codes, and like that song was just hitting. Um, so yeah, I mean it was really tight, very tight.
That's awesome. And then, of course, you released in 2017 I Like Me Better, which was a sleeper hit and became this huge hit all over the world. What was that like for you?
I mean, insane. You know, I made that song in my bedroom, and I really just had like no idea it would do that. It was like one of the fastest songs I ever wrote, and then yeah, I mean, it was so massive. It changed my life in every single way. So
It's incredible. And then, of course, you have a new album out right now, How I'm Feeling.
Yeah.
And I got to say, man, this is like, it's like a work of art. I mean, it is
thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
really authentic, human. It goes through the entire range of emotions that I think most of us have.
Thank you.
Thank you. But what was that process like for you recording it? I mean, especially something so personal.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty intense. You know, when I set out to start it, I didn't even know that if I actually like could make it. I had no idea what it was going to be like. I was actually like pretty depressed and like dealing with that. So the album for me really marks like this progression of like where I was like a year and a half ago to where I am now, and it means a lot to me.
And what was that? Were you nervous at all about? I mean, so there's not a lot of people that openly talk, you know, freely about their own mental health struggles. And that has been something that you've done completely freely. And that's obviously, of course, evident in the album too. Was that ever a worry for you at all?
Yeah, in the beginning, like I was very nervous, you know, but I'd kind of started to get to a place where I was doing a little bit better. And I think that gave me the confidence to be like, I don't know, as I got better and as like people helped me, I just figured like if I put my story out and kind of explain what I was going through, that other people would probably relate to it. And, you know, if that can do anything, then like it makes me feel a little bit more free from my own demons. And I think it also helps other people with their own demons as well. So
absolutely. And I'm a huge proponent of therapy. I think everybody should go to therapy. I think it should be like required. And that's something I've actually seen you talk about in interviews as well, that you're very open about that. And, and why is that? What does that do for you? I mean, you know, not to get, but what does that do for you?
No. For me, it's just like every week, you know, it's like I still, in this time, I'm doing like, Zoom sessions with my therapist. I literally just talked to her today. It's just like a safe space where it's like there's no like, you know, no like weird like, oh, my one friend like knows this about me but not this about me, and it's sort of like she knows everything and has this like unbiased view. So I think that's really, I don't know, it's really helpful, and I feel like I can just say literally anything, like all the things you don't ever want to say to anybody. It's like you can say that to your therapist, because we all have stuff inside of us that we're ashamed of or we're working through that's really hard to talk about. And it's really good to have like one place that you can really let that out. So,
and is another place for you your music?
100%. Yeah, I mean, my music is really like just how I confront and even kind of discover what's going on inside of me. You know, a lot of I just feel like I have a lot of experiences that at first I don't really know, I don't process them, and then I make a song about it, and I'm like, okay, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So,
and on How I'm Feeling, you've got some pretty dope collaborations. You've got Alessia Cara and your second one, I believe, with BTS, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how did those come about? That's pretty sweet to have them on your album.
Yeah. It's funny because I wasn't expecting to do any collabs for the album really, but then I met BTS and they asked me to do the remix for their song Make It Right. And then I was like, oh, I have a song for my album. They loved it. And it became, you know, a collab. And then Alessia, I had like written like a demo of the song Canada with some friends. And then I FaceTimed her. We were talking. We met a couple times and showed her the song and she loved it. And then she wrote her part. Each collab kind of happened in its own way. But I love the songs.
The other thing that I love what you've done with this record is you haven't really gone about it the traditional way in regards to releasing it. So you haven't released a single and then, you know, potentially a second single and then the album comes out. You were like doing it every week. I mean, what was that strategy? I loved it, but what was in your mind to do that?
For me, I just feel like the album took so long to like really, I wanted it to come a lot earlier, but I was kind of struggling a lot. So it just didn't happen. And so once I finally started writing a lot, I was like, I don't want to wait till it's all done. I just want to start releasing songs as I finish them. And then, once I feel like I've said all I want to say with this album, then I'll cap it and then release the rest of it. Is kind of the way it was.
With your record, obviously you were touring and that's kind of put on hold right now.
Yeah.
Are you just once all this has cleared up and it's safe, are you just going right back on the road, or what can we expect from you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, still have make tour dates, and I'm just hoping to be able to do as many of them as possible. And I just hope everything gets safe. And aside from that, I'm going to be releasing, I think, still a lot more music this year because I'm in quarantine. I'm in my studio right now. Like, I'm making so much shit. So I'm really excited.
Dope. That's awesome. So we might even have more to look forward to by the time this is all over.
Hell yeah.
All right. So I have a game if you're down to play. It's called I Like Me Better.
Let's do it.
And it's going to be, so what I would like you to do, I'm going to give you two things, and you're going to tell me I like me better when I'm with X or Y, okay?
Okay.
Is that cool?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Mm-hmm. So we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock. I like me better with Lauv. Fruity Pebbles or Cocoa Pebbles?
I like me better with Cocoa Pebbles for sure.
Okay, correct answer. Dog or cat?
I can't. I like me better with dog. With the dog.
That's a correct answer. You like me better with beach or city?
I like me better with city.
City. Okay, correct. PlayStation or Xbox?
I guess I like me better with Xbox. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm sorry, Lauv. That was the incorrect answer.
I don't like that.
That's what we have on the cards. That's incorrect. Writing music or listening to music?
I like me better when I'm writing music, I think. Yeah.
Okay, correct answer. Sunrise or sunset?
I like me better. Oh, I'm gonna go sunset. Yeah. Sunset.
Okay, correct answer.
I like them both, though.
And this is for the grand prize finale, okay? You like me better, you like you better when you are being interviewed by me, Kyle, or literally any other hosts in the world, including Oprah.
Oh, bro, I mean, I like me better when I'm being interviewed by Kyle.
Yeah, that is the
answer that before we did this interview. Let's go.
That is the correct answer, and you have won. We're in quarantine, so we got to deal with what we got. But it is a stuffed cat that a listener sent, and we're not sure if it was supposed to be funny or creepy. But now it's yours, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to have that sent to you. And not at all in a creepy way.
Always stuffed cat. I love
it. Brother, thank you so much for talking with me. When you got more music comes out, let me know. We're going to talk again, and I look forward to everything you're doing, brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Talk to you soon.
Stay safe.
You too.
Yeah.
Later.
Whee.
That's Lauv, such a talented guy, humble guy. I love how authentic he is. So check out the album, How I'm Feeling. It is so good. One of my favorites in a while. So you can get that on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your music. Next up is that much promised interview with Mallika Chopra. You guys are really going to love this one. This is a little bit more spiritual than, we typically get on Pop Culture Weekly, but I really thought it was important during this time to dive there. You know what I mean? She's an amazing author. I love all of her content. She does videos and speeches. She's just really, really cool. And I really loved this conversation. So here is my convo with Mallika Chopra. All right, so I am here with Mallika Chopra, who is, first of all, I love all of your work, and you're a best-selling author. We're going to get into that, especially your new book, Just Feel. However, I'd like to start first, if we could, on your book, Living with Intent. I love this book, and I think it is a guidebook for how to live your life with intention. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so thank you for having me. I have written a few books. Living with Intent, the subtitle is My Somewhat Messy Journey to Purpose, Peace, and Joy. And the messy journey in that subtitle is the key part. So, I am a meditator. I teach meditation. I teach about mental health, but I'm also, like everyone else, busy, frazzled at times, managing my kids, my businesses, just these days, just cleaning my home. And so Living with Intent really was a book to think about, what does balance mean? How do we prioritize things in our life? And it really outlines a path to intent. Intent really meaning, who do we aspire to be as individuals, of members of our community, and as citizens of planet Earth. So the goal of the book is to really give practical tips to get through our everyday lives.
And I love that. And one of the big revelations in reading it for me was that it doesn't have to be okay, tomorrow I'm going to drastically change my life and I need to get all this done so I can live with intent. It can be made up of small intentions that add up over time, right?
Yes, so I call those micro intents, which is really just every day setting one small intent for the day. So maybe it's, I want to connect with someone today, or I want to spend time in nature. And when we kind of build up, it's small steps manifest big change over time. But yes, I'm not a believer in changing your whole lifestyle. I know myself, whenever I decide to kind of try a new diet or exercise routine or commit to like a big spiritual practice, after the first 3 or 4 days, I start to wane off. So
Right.
I really believe in small steps, and we make change gradually.
Awesome. So your latest book is actually for kids. It's your second kids book, and it is called Just Feel: How to Be Stronger, Happier, Healthier, and More. I wanted to make sure I got the subtitle right. So this is I would say, an extension almost of your first children's book. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, so I feel so lucky that I've been able to start sharing some of this work directly with kids. So I was 9 years old myself when I learned how to meditate. Many of you know my father, Deepak Chopra. I know he's speaking with all of you as well. And he taught my brother and I how to meditate when we were kids. My parents never forced us to meditate. Rather, they gave us some tools that we could use in our life. And I saw the power of that in my own life. And then as I became a mom and shared that with my kids and their friends. So Just Breathe and Just Feel are books to give directly to kids, 8 to 12-year-olds. It's written for that age group who can read and understand themselves. Tools that, on how to breathe, on mindfulness techniques. So Just Breathe is filled with more the practical tools, but Just Feel is really about social and emotional intelligence, grit, resilience. And, these books, what I'm finding is they're great for kids, but I have so many parents, teachers, young adults who love them because they're really simple. There's not too much like philosophy and other stuff around it. It's really just the techniques directly themselves.
And that's kind of what I love about it, especially for somebody like me who my journey with meditation and my whole personal journey has been a lot of stops and starts, right? So, lately I have committed myself to doing 5 minutes of meditation per day, because I was trying to do, every morning when I get up for a half hour, I'm going to meditate. And as you mentioned with, some life changes that we attempt sometimes it's just too much at once. And so what I found is 5 minutes. If I can't find 5 minutes a day, then I've got a time management problem, So the thing that I love about these books is that it does kind of, there's a subreddit called EIL5, which is Explain Like I'm 5. And I love how this kind of does that. Obviously, it's for a little bit older audience, but but it's the no frills. Like if you want to just jump into it as simply as you can do that. Oh, and by the way, it's also great for 8 to 12-year-olds.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Many people get intimidated when you use the word meditation or mindfulness. And, they're like, I can't settle my mind. I can't slow down. It really begins with just taking deep breaths. So, really just a deep breath in, pausing and breathing out just helps us slow down and connect. And then we can add from there. But yes, going back to the small steps, if you can start with one breath, with kids, sometimes I recommend take 10 steps and just be aware of, when you put your foot up, take a breath in, and when you put it down, take a breath out, and take 10 steps like that. And we can keep adding to these exercises, having gratitude at the end of the day, setting that intent in the morning, being aware of our body. These are all really powerful techniques. And just because they're easy doesn't mean they aren't powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the key to all of these techniques.
So thank you for that. And with everything that's going on currently in our world, regarding the pandemic, this is probably more vital than ever. I don't have kids yet myself, but I have a godson that I know has had some worries about what's going on, even with school. Like, what's going to happen when I go back to school? Am I going back to school? Why aren't I going to school? That sort of thing. How can we use these concepts to help children during this time?
Yes. So, I am a mom. I have two kids. They're older now, so they're 18 and almost 16. My 18-year-old is a senior in college who's going to miss all of her graduation ceremonies, who's suddenly unsure if she's even going to get to go to college in the fall after working so hard. So there's a lot of disappointment and sadness. And in context, obviously, with what's happening in the world, my kids are very safe and they're healthy. And so I think for families, every family, it's going to be different. But what I recommend is first for the parents or the caregivers or the godfathers or whoever it may be, to find their own practice, because kids pick up on our energy. So if we are panicked and stressed, our kids are going to pick up on that. Second, a really basic meditation that I do with kids is my safe, happy place, which is finding that place inside of us that we can turn to for peace and for connection, and feeling grounded. And so that's something that, is a guided meditation. I read it out for the Save the Children book series, so people can find it there. But another thing I like to do with kids and adults, especially in a time when the future is uncertain, the reality is nobody knows what's going to happen. So we're starting to live in times where, we have to become comfortable with the uncertainty, which seems impossible. So for me, what helps is literally just sitting or standing and putting my feet on the ground, feeling the earth beneath me and taking a deep breath and saying, I feel grounded. So really connecting to that space that we're in. Then taking a deep breath with my hand on my heart and just feeling present in my body. And then taking a third breath to just feel the expansiveness of space around. And so what that does is just help us kind of embody just some breath in a time when everything seems so crazy.
I love those. And what's again, what one of the things I do love about those is that it's simple. You know what I mean? Because you could really do that wherever, right?
Yes. And that's the thing, especially in Just Feel, one of the things that I stress to kids, and I think it's important to stress to everyone right now, is this is a time of grief. It's a time of anxiety and worry and stress. And, we all are feeling it. And our kids, especially if they're younger, may not intellectually understand it, but kids also get it. Like suddenly they're at home, they're not interacting with friends. And so there is a lot of big feelings here. So one, it's important to actually recognize the feelings. one exercise to do is name it to tame it. So like when you feel overwhelming feelings, start just naming it, because then what you do is you shift from your body taking over to like your mind kind of helping to settle things down. And then just go through them. And as parents or as friends or as teachers, mentors, it's important to recognize that we're all going through that, and talking through it, feeling through it, breathing through it, and finding ways to move on.
I love that. And what is something during this time, we've talked about children, what is something for anybody? What is your one piece of advice that you could give to everybody during this uncertainty?
So I would say find a practice that works for you and works for your situation. So it can begin with just a breathing exercise, a simple I am meditation where you just sit quietly for a few minutes and repeat the words I am and connect. It could be, and this may be impossible for many people, but if you're in an area where you can go outside and just connect with nature, that could be a practice. And then what's powerful and everyone can do is a gratitude practice. So just think about what you're grateful for, because there's a lot of stuff that we're stressed about right now, but adding that gratitude consciously can help balance, some of the stress and anxiety that's racing in our minds.
That's great that you say gratitude. One of the things that I've been doing through this whole quarantine is whenever I wash my hands, which especially now is a lot, I say to myself 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I find that one, that gives me, the 30, 45 seconds of hand washing. But it also reminds me that no matter how bad it might feel sometimes, I have things in my life that I'm grateful for and that I love and hold dear and really just appreciate being in my life.
Yeah. And, that's the thing. Many people are really suffering or going to suffer, whether it's health or financial or losing people, dealing with grief. So these are hard times, but hopefully you can find one thing that you're grateful for. It may even just be the sun rising every day, the ability to take a deep breath.
Awesome. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. We're going to have all the links to all of your incredible books and, of course, your blog and everything. There's so many ways that so much content, great content, life-changing content that you've put out that I am grateful for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and wishing everyone safety, healthy, and happiness, of course.
Thank you very much. And please, for your next book, come back and let's talk again.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Isn't she incredible? She's such a thoughtful, intentful, just teacher. She really is a teacher. And I love the tips that she had for people, especially with kids, on how to guide them through this crazy time that we're living. So, and again, spoiler alert, those tips aren't just for kids, because I was writing them down for myself. You know what I mean? All right. There is another episode of Pop Culture Weekly. I thank you guys, as always, just for making this grow every single week. And you are the reason the show exists. So keep on subscribing, keep on sharing with your friends and family, keep on talking about it on social media, keep on reaching out to me on social media. I love your messages. I even love some of the hate mail I've gotten. I love everything that you guys are doing. You make this show what it is. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
You're listening to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station.